Hey, so I wanted to give a quick update on some of the footage that I shot on my Helendale RCS campout. If you guys haven't seen my last video, definitely go check that out. So I've been experimenting with some different noise reduction algorithms, and I managed to get some pretty good results on some of them. So if you guys want to get a little better look at that aircraft, I'm going to put those clips at the end of this video, and I'm also going to throw in some bonus footage of the RCS facility that I shot. So without further ado, here's today's adventure. Hey, welcome back to Uncanny Expeditions. Today's video is going to be pretty low-key. I'm just kind of hanging out at my campsite here in the Mojave Desert. The weather's been insanely hot the last few days. We're finally starting to get into that season where it's getting to be a little bit on the inhospitable side for a nomad. The van AC has been working overtime and I've been sweating a lot. So today's video is going to be pretty low-key. I've been getting some stuff done. I've been hosing the mud off the bikes here. Got the good old birch growler, Honda Trail 125. And this e-scooter that I actually got about a month or so ago. They sent this guy out to me, but I haven't had a chance really to do a good video on it yet. I will though in the next couple days because this thing's pretty cool. It has an off-road suspension, it's all-wheel drive. And I actually never knew they made all-wheel drive off-road scooters, but apparently they do, so that's kind of cool. Anyways, today my plan is gonna be to head up to this hilltop that's behind me, behind my campsite here. And it's gonna give me a couple good views with the spotting scope of some sites on Edwards Air Force Base that have been used to develop some secret projects in the past. So I'm gonna look at those, see what I can see. Tonight, I'm probably gonna pull out the night vision, see what I can see out here in the sky, because I have a pretty good view of the airspace above Edwards. Who knows, maybe we'll see some interesting things. Tomorrow, I plan on heading over to Palmdale, and I'm gonna show you guys the Plant 42 Lockheed Skunk Works headquarters that I mentioned briefly in the last video. So I'm gonna ride around the perimeter of that place, see if there's anything interesting going on out there. And that's basically the plan for today's video. Hope you guys enjoy the ride. Let's get to it. All right, well, I'm hitting the trail now. I'm gonna ride up to this top of the hill that's behind my campsite. So when you're driving along US 395, which is where I'm camped near, if you look off in the distance, you might notice some kind of odd looking buildings that look like they're carved into the side of a hill, some concrete structures. This is a place called Haystack Butte, and that's what we're gonna be checking out today. So tucked away in this little corner of Edwards Air Force Base is this little known hill that has a big story. As I said, it's called Haystack Butte. It's not super flashy, it may not look like much, just some concrete structures, maybe something carved into the side of this hill, but this remote spot holds an interesting place in history for experimental aerospace projects, and maybe even some secrets that last to this day. So our trip is going to begin at the eastern edge of Rogers Dry Lake. This is where Haystack Butte sits in the Mojave Desert. At first glance, just a dusty mountaintop with some buildings, but in the late 1990s, this spot was chosen for some interesting projects. In 1997, construction began at Haystack Butte for what's called the NASA X-33 program, which was a sleek, futuristic space plane designed to launch vertically and land horizontally. The X-33 was meant to be a reusable, single-stage-to-orbit vehicle, which was a stepping stone to the next era of space travel. Crews laid down infrastructure. Across 100 acres, they built tanks, support systems for handling volatile fuels like liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen. The project had big promises, but also suffered from some big problems as well. After millions were invested, the X-33 was canceled in 2001. A number of technical failures, especially with the spacecraft's composite fuel tanks, meant the dream never left the ground. And Haystack Butte's launch pad, it was built, but it was never used. Today, Haystack Butte sits quietly in the desert. It's still part of the extensive Edwards Air Force Base testing range, surrounded by mystery, but officially the site hasn't been marked for any major projects. Although its proximity to hypersonic test labs and propulsion facilities nearby keeps people wondering if maybe it is used for something currently. Some believe Haystack Butte could be repurposed for next-generation reusable launch systems. There are even whispers that Haystack Butte has underground access tunnels or supports programs that we'll never hear about, not officially anyways. So once I get up to the top of this hill, I'm going to pull out the spotting scope and see if I can get a good look at this forgotten spaceport. Wow, this view up here is nuts. That was a pretty crazy ride up here, but it's well worth it. Now let's see what I can get through the spotting scope. All right, so here's the view through the spotting scope over across 395. You can see the mountain, Haystack Butte, and the facilities that are built onto it here. We got a tank of some kind on the top. And panning down, you can see the control facility that they built into the side of the mountain. Seems like it was a pretty complex operation. I'd be surprised if they let it all go to waste. I bet it is either going to be used for something or is currently being used for something. And over to the right of that, looks like some planes. I'm not sure why they're sitting there in the desert. I saw some really old photos of this site and those planes were still here, so they've clearly been here for a long time. It looks like some shipping containers piled up next to them as well. Another tower and a facility here, not sure what this is used for. And panning over to the right, we have the Air Force Research Laboratory Propulsion Directorate facility. This is where a lot of advanced aerospace research takes place. You can see a variety of buildings here. And way over yonder, about 46 miles away, you can see the Mojave wind turbines. Kind of makes for a cool shot with the research lab and the wind turbines in the background. So I got quite a few comments on my last video asking me what I was using for night vision gear. I figured I'd take a minute just to show you guys my current setup. So I just got what's called a PVS-14. The one I got is from a company called Steel Industries. I don't have any affiliation with them, but there's a whole bunch of companies out there that make these and sell these. What the PVS-14 is basically a military standard night vision monocular. This thing is incredible, the quality I was getting out of it, and I don't even have all the settings perfectly dialed in with my camera yet, but the quality I was getting was incredible. It's a lot better than my old unit that I had, which was a digital unit called the NVG-30. PVS-14 is an analog unit. Really night and day difference between the two, pun intended. Those two lights on the hill over there are from the Air Force Research Lab. And over here, there's a single red light on top of Haystack Butte, right on top of the tank there. It's pretty much impossible to make out any details in the dark, but several of the laboratory buildings are lit up right now. Well, there you have it. Definitely rattlesnake season now. So my intention was to do a little bit longer exploration of the Plant 42 perimeter. Unfortunately, the winds were absolutely insane today. It was 40 plus miles per hour. I tried setting up a tripod with the camera. It just wasn't gonna happen. Even worse with the spotting scope, trying to get stable footage. So what I was able to do is I waited for a little lull in the wind, and I got some good footage of the Skunk Works portion, the Lockheed Skunk Works headquarters. So I'm gonna be showing you guys that today. Gave me a chance to ride the Ausom DT1 Pro scooter. I parked up at a local Walmart here, and the Lockheed Skunk Works facility is just around the block. So I hopped on the scooter and rode down that way. Conveniently, there's this really nice bike path running along the edge of the facility. Gave me a good opportunity to peer over the fence line. So Skunk Works is the name of the Lockheed Martin Advanced Development Program Division. They design and build all manner of classified aircraft and weapon systems for the military. As you can see, their facility here in Palmdale is absolutely massive. Because we're in the middle of civilization, unlike the middle of the desert, anything classified that's being worked on here is well hidden, I'm sure, inside these structures. Unlike Helendale, you're unlikely to catch a glimpse of anything they don't want you to see. Over on this end of the facility, you have Building 611, primarily an engineering facility, I believe, and behind it, Building 608, which is used for simulations. Looks like they have one of the large sliding doors open here on this building. Wonder what they got in there. The amount of active work on classified programs here I know has increased in recent years, with a new building known as Building 648 being constructed in 2021 that was designed to hold multiple classified projects. Right about now, the wind was starting to get insane, so I took a quick peek at the ox cart and the Blackbird that Lockheed has parked out front, and then I called it a day after that. It's fun to speculate what kind of exotic technologies might be hidden in these Lockheed Skunk Works facilities. I always go back to what the former Lockheed Skunk Works director, Ben Rich, would say about topics like this. He has a few notable quotes, one of them being, "We already have the means to travel among the stars, but these technologies are locked up in black projects, and it would take an act of God to ever get them out to benefit humanity. Anything you can imagine, we already know how to do." All right, so as promised, I got to work on doing some denoising on this Helendale Skunk Works RCS footage. So here's the results of that now. It came out looking pretty good, I think. And here's some extra footage of the RCS site shot during the day now. You can get a good view here of the radar dish that they wheel out during the tests. And here is looking down into the depression in the ground where the pylon comes up for the tests. All right, well, that's a wrap for today's episode. Appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you next time.